Today I'll be showing you how to make the ultimate 100-hour lasagna, inspired by Alvin Zhao's 100-hour lasagna. If you haven't seen his video, watch it after this, it's a masterpiece. I've put my own twist on his recipe and have taken it to the next level by making the tomato sauce and mozzarella from scratch. I've even taken the pasta up a notch by adding spinach. But what really elevates this lasagna is the slow-cooked beef ragu. So let's get into it. Start by cutting between the bones of the short ribs to separate them. They're such a beautiful and flavorful cut of meat. We will be dry brining them for 24 hours. This will help enhance the flavor of the meat. Just generously salt each side, wrap in plastic and place in the fridge overnight. The next component is the tomato sauce and tomato paste. We will need to make them before we cook the ragu. These are the ingredients required. We will be starting the tomato paste as it takes hours to reduce in the oven. Roma tomatoes are a good choice as they have a high flesh content. Start preheating your oven to 140 degrees Celsius or 280 Fahrenheit now. Halve them and remove the green part in the center. I find it has a bitter flavor. Roughly dice and throw them in the pot over medium heat. Add a small amount of water to speed up this process. Cook until tender and pour into a food mill or a sieve over a bowl, preferably using a steel sieve that is strong. If you're like me and only have a sieve, use a large spoon or spatula to gently press the tomatoes through the sieve. After a few minutes you should be left with only the skins and the seeds in the sieve and a nice smooth tomato sauce in the bowl. Coat a non-stick baking tray in a fine layer of olive oil and pour in your tomato sauce. Spread evenly to avoid uneven cooking. Place in the oven to cook for a few hours, stirring every 30 minutes and spreading evenly before cooking further. It will be done once it resembles a very thick consistency and a dark red color. While the tomato paste bakes, we can make the main tomato sauce. We will first need to blanch the tomatoes to make the peeling easier. Start to bring a pot of water to the boil and score an X mark on the bottom of the 7 large tomatoes and a small slit at the bottom of the 400 grams of cherry tomatoes. Carefully place the large tomatoes into the boiling water for about 30 to 60 seconds. Then add the smaller tomatoes for a further 30 seconds or until you notice the skin splitting. Transfer them into a bowl of icy water to cool. Now we can easily peel off the skin. Don't forget to stir the tomato paste every 30 minutes or so. Once peeled, cut the large tomatoes in half and remove the bitter green part near the center. Then roughly chop up the tomatoes. Peel and halve the cherry tomatoes. Finally dice half a medium onion and a clove of garlic. Pour a splash of olive oil in a pot over medium heat and fry the onions until they become translucent. Then add the garlic and fry until aromatic. Now it's time to add our tomatoes to the pot. Stir everything together and let it simmer on low heat for about 10 minutes. Then add 2 teaspoons of salt, a tablespoon of sugar and 2 sprigs of basil to the tomato paste. Continue to simmer for about 15 minutes longer. This will allow the flavors to meld and the tomatoes to break down and become tender. After 15 minutes, pour into a bowl or a container and place in the fridge overnight. Continue to reduce the tomatoes in the oven until it thickens into a dark red paste like this. Once again, place in the fridge overnight. You can cook the whole lasagna in one day if you want to skip the dry brine and the resting of the sauces, but it will probably take the whole day, so splitting it up like this makes it much easier to manage and I find it helps to enhance the flavor. Today we will be making the mouth-watering 4-hour slow-cooked short rib ragu. Begin by preparing the ingredients. Take 3 sticks of celery and 2 to 3 carrots and chop them into small pieces. Take 1 large onion and 2 cloves of garlic and finely chop them. These vegetables will add depth and texture to our ragu. Take 250 grams of pancetta and chop it into small cubes. We will be starting the ragu on the stove, then placing in the oven for 3 to 4 hours. So start preheating your oven to 110 degrees Celsius or 225 Fahrenheit. Add a generous splash of olive oil to a Dutch oven or an oven-proof pot with a lid. Salt the short ribs and brown them on all sides, then remove. Now add the pancetta and let it render its savory fat, enhancing the overall taste of our ragu. Next, add the vegetables and cook for 5 to 7 minutes. If your short ribs are big like mine, you can separate most of the meat from the bones to make it more manageable to stir. Add the short ribs back to the pot along with 250 ml of red wine, cooking it off for a few minutes. Then add the fresh tomato sauce and tomato paste you made yesterday and combine well. Salt and pepper to taste. Throw in 3 bay leaves and stir to combine. I picked and dried my own bay leaves, but you don't have to do this. Turn down the heat to low and place a lid on and simmer for 15 minutes. Stir one final time, place the lid on and place in the oven for 3 to 4 hours. Wow, it is gorgeous, and I am so tempted just to eat it now. Please press the like button to help me resist eating it all now. The meat should slide right off the bones. Discard the bones and remove all the meat into a dish. Use 2 forks to pull the tender beef apart. It should almost fall apart. Add it back to the pot and stir to combine. Leave it to cool for an hour or 2, then place in the fridge for 2 days. I find that some recipes like lasagna always seem to taste better the next day or so. That is all the cooking for today. I'll see you tomorrow for the bechamel sauce and the spinach pasta. These are the ingredients for the bechamel sauce. Start by grating 200 grams of Parmigiano Reggiano. Pour 900 milliliters of milk into a small saucepan on low heat. Heating the milk will help with making the bechamel sauce. Melt 70 grams of butter in a medium-sized saucepan and add 70 grams of all-purpose flour. Cook for a couple of minutes to remove the raw flour taste. Gradually combine the milk into the mixture 1 cup at a time, making sure to stir out any lumps. It's easier to remove the lumps while the mixture is thick, so adding it all at once can be a little bit risky. Continue heating until it almost boils and then turn off the heat. Grate over some fresh nutmeg and add the Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Now we've turned the bechamel sauce into a Mornay sauce. Once cool enough, cover with plastic wrap and place in the fridge for tomorrow. It's now time to make the spinach pasta. Fresh pasta is easy to make and really elevates the dish to the next level. Today I'm using 600 grams of 00 flour, 5 eggs and 250 grams of spinach. Start by wilting the spinach in a large non-stick pan with a pinch of salt. Remove and add to a blender or a food processor and pulse until smooth. Make a well in the flour and add the eggs and spinach into the center. Whisk together, then gently incorporate the flour into the eggs until it starts to thicken. Ditch the fork and start kneading the dough for about 10 to 15 minutes. You'll know it's ready once it looks smooth and bounces back when you press it. Wrap in cling film and let it rest in the fridge overnight. That's all the cooking for today. Tomorrow we will make the mozzarella and complete the lasagna. Today we will start by making the mozzarella. Dissolve a teaspoon of citric acid in half a cup of water. Dilute 1 milliliter of rennet in 40 ml of water. Add the milk to a heavy base pot over low heat and slowly add the citric acid solution while stirring. Once the milk reaches around 32 degrees Celsius or 90 Fahrenheit, turn off the heat, add the rennet and stir for about 10 to 15 seconds. Let the mixture sit undisturbed for about 10 minutes. The milk will have set and be a consistency like the custard in a tart that you can slice through. If it's not ready, leave for another 5 minutes. Cut the curds using a grid pattern, turn the heat back on low and very gently mix the curds. Continue until the temperature reaches about 41 degrees Celsius or 106 degrees Fahrenheit and then turn off the heat. Place a colander over a large bowl to catch the whey. Carefully transfer the curds into the colander. Add half a tablespoon of salt to the pot of whey, then reserve almost half the salted whey solution to cool in the fridge while you do the next steps. Turn the heat on low again to start heating the whey to about 75 degrees Celsius or 170 Fahrenheit. Allow the curds to drain for a few minutes and gently squeeze the curds to remove excess liquid. It's time to place the curds in for a few minutes. The curds will start to soften, stretch and fold like so to about 5 folds. You can shape the curds into a ball by gently pressing and shaping them with your hands. Finally, take the cool bowl of salted whey out of the fridge and place your mozzarella balls in it for 15 minutes or until you need to use them. Now the mozzarella is being taken care of, the last thing we need to make are the pasta sheets. First, place a large pot of water over high heat to boil and salt it generously. Remove the pasta dough from the fridge and cut into equal pieces. Flatten it out to about half a centimetre thick and start passing it through your pasta machine, starting at the widest setting and continuing until the dough is fine enough that you can see your hand through it. For my machine, it's setting 6 of 9. Cut the sheets to roughly the length of the dish that you will be using to cook your lasagna. Before you start cooking the lasagna sheets, begin to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit and remove the ragu and bechamel from the fridge and begin to warm them up on low heat over the stove. By now the water should be boiling. It's time to cook the pasta. The pasta cooks very quickly, so make sure you don't walk away while doing this. Carefully place the pasta into the boiling water for 20 to 30 seconds and remove. Do not stack the pasta on top of each other as it will stick together. Use a barrier of some sort. I've used baking paper. Prepare the cheese by grating 1/4 of the mozzarella and cutting the rest into slices. Grate another 50 grams of Parmigiano Reggiano. It's finally time to assemble the lasagna. Place a thin layer of ragu down first to stop the pasta from sticking to the dish as it bakes. Then add a layer of pasta followed by 1/3 of the ragu. Then add another layer of pasta topped with 1/4 of the bechamel sauce and half of the mozzarella slices. Next add a layer of pasta and the next third of ragu. Then add another layer of pasta topped with the next 1/4 of the bechamel sauce and the rest of the mozzarella slices. Next add a layer of pasta topped with the rest of the ragu and some of the bechamel. Add the final layer of pasta topped with the rest of the bechamel and the grated mozzarella and Parmigiano Reggiano. It's now time to bake the lasagna. Place in the oven for about 30 to 45 minutes or until golden brown. Remove from the oven and let cool for 10 to 15 minutes. That's the ticket. I can't wait to try it. Use a sharp knife to cut a slice and remove the edges from the side of the dish. Serve and enjoy. And there you have it. The 100-hour lasagna, the most beautiful creation to date. Let's give it a try. It just melts in the mouth and at the same time smacks you in the face with full-on flavour. It's rich, intense flavour. I love it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.